welcome to another episode of the Ball and All podcast. This is your basketball podcast, but over the months of March to May, it's largely Basketball Africa League 2022 this year. I'll be doing a lot of that work. I'll be doing some NBA playoff. There is a WNBA draft that's happening next week. We'll probably talk about that. But this show is just about the Basketball Africa League. I do daily podcasts to let you know what's been happening in the conferences as we go along. I'm going to do them the day after, as the games end very late on my side here in South Africa. I think the game yesterday started at 9 p.m. South African time, and it ended obviously around about 11. So obviously we'll do it the next day when it's fresh, when I've rewatched, when I've gone through the stats and everything else. I did a Nile Conference preview, but we are in the midst of the Nile Conference. The Nile Conference has started in the Basketball Africa League. I did a Nile Conference preview 2 days ago. Please go check that out. See what I think of the teams and what everything else. But what we've seen so far is one game, opening day of the Nile Conference. And I want to talk about that and how it went down. Egypt, you came through. Stood up, you came through. The Zamalek fans were insane. It was an amazing atmosphere. Great opening ceremony with the man with the I think it was a violin and the laser show. That was amazing. That was insane. I enjoyed that a lot. And then we had the opening game, the defending champs, Zamalek taking on Cobra Sport, who are the newbies in Basketball Africa League. Cobra Sport won the Eastern Division. So they came second in the Eastern Division. They lost to Beira. So they just would be trying to figure out where the level of competition is at. And I think they found themselves with baptism of fire. It ended up 80-63 in favor of the home team, Zamalek. And I'm going to talk about Zamalek. I'm going to talk about Cobra Sport. And I'm going to talk about what the differences were. And let me start with Cobra Sport, 80-63. I'm going to leave it up here. Not many times in basketball will you get a team that wins the rebounding battle. Cobra Sport out-rebounded Zamalek 52-41. Wins the free throw attempts battle 23-14. Means they're going to the line a lot. They're getting people fouled, but they just weren't converting. But still lost. They even won the second chance points battle, which means you're taking chances on the opponent's glass. They got 18 second chance points compared to 6 in that game, but they still lost, largely because they had 22 turnovers. Zamalek were at their defensive best. They have the best front court in the BAL with Ike Diogu, who's played in the NBA for about 7 years. He played for Golden State. He played for Indiana, Sacramento, Portland, the LA Clippers, and Spurs. He didn't play for Portland, I beg your pardon. They also got the Defensive Player of the Year, Mohamed Anas, and that came through. Mohamed Anas had 6 blocks to add to his 10 points and 11 rebounds. Ike Diogu had 13 points, and Ike was effectively playing as a 4. He normally plays as a 5. But Mohamed Anas was the one who was sitting in the paint. He was the man who was screening and rolling into the paint. Ike was sitting out, waiting for the catch and shoot opportunity, or if not, he would drive in on the baseline and try get that dunk. It was really Mohamed Anas who was the first screener, and he rolled into the paint and he just got a flat pass into his chest, right underneath the basket. All he needed to do was do a bit of a reverse layup. It was just well drilled. They had 22 assists, which means they shared the ball a lot. Cobra Sport had 11. Cobra Sport felt rushed by the shot clock. Felt like they didn't know what to do at times, and they would put up early shot clock shots instead of trying to let the defense show you where their weaknesses are, move the ball around, see what's going. They didn't shoot that well in the paint. I think Zamalek, with the points in the paint, had 40 points in the paint compared to 28, and that's probably where this game ended up, over and above the points from turnovers, as well as the fast break points. 27 fast break points versus 9. That's probably one of the reasons why, because we're getting a lot of steals, 12 steals compared to 7, lots of blocks, lots of steals, lots of turnovers. 22-13 was the turnover battle, and that's what hurt Cobra Sport. Protect the ball, and you win the game. And especially with the fact that they have the length in Kier, their star, Mayan Kir, number one. He scored 18 points and 22 rebounds. He was so important on both sides of the court. David Deng Deng coming off the bench, scoring 11 points for Cobra Sport. Jared Eugene Harrington also scoring 11 points for Cobra Sport, but he also he was a starter. He was their point guard. And Leon Hampton, the center, didn't have a lot of success. He didn't get a lot of rebounds. He got 5 rebounds. And that's probably where I think Cobra Sport needs to try and work on, is trying to work on how they protect the ball, how they score offensively, because they, from a scoring perspective and a percentage perspective, for those who love those scoring percentages, they scored 37% inside the arc, 36% inside the arc, 2-pointers, compared to Zamalek, who scored 57. They had the same number of attempts as Zamalek. They just scored fewer. And largely that's because of Zamalek's defensive prowess, with Diogo and Anas, as well as El Makawi coming on as a sub. On top of that, if you looked at also, both teams couldn't score from three, 24% for Cobra Sport, 25% for Zamalek. So there is some things that both teams need to work on. I think Zamalek, the 3-point shooting will get better as they go along. Their defense will win them this championship. It's already locked in. They look very good on the defensive end. They move well. They work well. They help each other. And on top of that, on the offense, the transition play is so good. Fast break points. It just kept on beating Cobra Sport in transition. And that's what Cobra Sport kind of needs to work on. But fundamentally, I think I'm happy with where Cobra Sport's defense is. I think it can help them qualify for the playoffs, even as a third team. Yes, I haven't seen the other teams, but I'm really happy with what I see from Cobra Sport. They're rangy from defense. They held Zamalek to 80 points, which I think is a great feat. And they just struggled on the inside, and that's probably going to have to, that's the work they're going to have to do on a defensive end. Try also score a lot, move the ball a lot more on offense and see what the defense gives you. I think that's the one thing they're going to try and work on. But it was a really great game. Zamalek obviously go to the top of the Nile Conference, one game in. They've got Cobra Sport at the bottom, minus 17. That points difference is going to be quite interesting to see how other teams, when they play Zamalek, how they go. Zamalek looked very good. Daryl Strawberry Jr. also scored over 10 points. I think he scored 14 points. Diogo scored 17. Strawberry Jr. and Diogo were shooting from 3 really well. I think Diogo had a 30% shooting from the arc, which isn't bad for a big man, a center who's 38 years old. He was running the floor really well, so I'm happy about that. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what today's games bring. But Zamalek looked very good defensively, and for me, defense wins you championships. And today, it helped them get through, especially when sometimes their offense didn't click as much. I think their shooting from 3 wasn't that great, but that's not who they are. They're a paint team. They bully you in the paint, and that's a Cobra Sport learned, and hopefully Cobra Sport will try and elevate their game. Still quite interested to see how Petro de Luanda will come up against Zamalek, but that was a really good game so far. Really great start, Basketball Africa League. Let's just look at the fixtures, and then we'll be out of this. Today's fixtures, 7:30 GMT, you've got FAP against the Congolese team, Espoir Fukash Basketball Club, Espoir Fukash. That's also going to be quite interesting to see. It's a rematch of their semi-final at, remember FAP won the Western qualifier. They beat Espoir Fukash in the, in I think it was a group phase of that competition. So it's going to be a big game there for Espoir Fukash to kind of let them know that, there's a step up. And then finally, Cape Town Tigers against Petro de Luanda. It's a David versus Goliath clash here. Petro de Luanda, the successful and one of the most successful African clubs, basketball clubs, playing against Cape Town Tigers. So that's going to be a very interesting game for everyone to watch. I'm excited to see Cape Town Tigers. I think their front court is going to be quite important. I think they have a very good front court, some really nice shooters there and everything else. But one other thing, this Elevate initiative where young players are getting put into these clubs to play from the NBA Basketball Without Borders program, that's amazing. Mpho, the number 14 of Zamalek, he's only 16 years old. He showed us So much talent yesterday on the floor. Got 6 points, a couple of rebounds, had a couple of fast break opportunities, gone and begging. But he looks good. Even defensively, he moves his feet. He looks very light on his feet. And it's one of the key things is you want as a defender and someone who has a bright future ahead of him. And I think he's someone to watch. And it was really great that he got an opportunity to come on. Please do watch out for those Elevate players, as that's going to be that they are getting an opportunity of a lifetime. So remember, that is what it is. But that's myself. That's the end of the basketball, the Ball and All show. Remember, you can subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Mpho, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me know what you think. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye, and lesale kakahiso.